I'm Kim Kirk, continuing the list of 10 things I learned from Peter. If you've missed any, you can always find them on my website, kimberlykirk.com, or my YouTube page. Here's what we've seen so far. God gives us what we need to do what he calls us to do. Outcome doesn't always reflect effort. And today's, a perceived failure can actually be a great success. This can be an encouragement to us since we all blow it at times, and we know that God can bring good out of anything. But the principle here in Peter's life is that something was seen as a failure when it was actually the exact opposite. I'm referring to the incident that's recorded in Matthew chapter 14. Jesus has just fed the 5,000, and he puts the disciples in a boat on the Sea of Galilee or the Lake of Gennesaret, and he goes up into the mountains to pray. 6 to 12 hours later, he comes back down, and the disciples have only gone about 3.5 miles because of the violent storm that has just kind of taken over this lake. So he goes out to them, and they see something or someone coming, and they think it's a ghost, and they're terrified, and they cry out. And this is Christ's response and what happens next. It's recorded in Matthew 14, verses 27 to 33. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." Why do we tend to see Peter in a negative light in this scene? Oh, there he goes again, opening his big mouth and doing something and then failing. If we made a list of his blunders, this would probably be on it. And yet, look at what happened. Peter walked on the water. Amazing, impossible, miraculous. And he was the only one who made this huge request of our Lord. Now, we might be thinking, but wait a minute, Jesus is the one that said, "Oh, you of little faith." And that's true, he did. But I don't think his intent, I don't think his tone was that of condemnation. In light of the fact that Peter just walked on water, he just defied gravity. I believe it was more of compassion. There might have been a little bit of disappointment, but I don't think it was because Peter failed. I think it had to do with the fact that Peter could have walked on water even longer. And if he had kept his eyes on Christ, he would have been spared that sinking into this stormy sea and that fear of drowning. Why is our focus often on Peter's lack of faith instead of the wonder of the fact that he walked on water? His perceived failure was actually a great success, and ours can be as well. We need to stop worrying about what others think about what we're doing or praying about, and instead can be concerned about the only opinion that matters, and that's God. Tune in tomorrow for more encouragement from the Word.